What's up YouTube? It's your boy Australia Duel Masters coming at you with this video. I'm having an absolute blast making these videos for you all. Today I have another deck profile for you guys which I'm excited to share. I believe it's a super interesting concept and it is one that I personally haven't seen done before. It's the Soul Phoenix deck. This deck is all about beating your opponent down with beastly creatures and relying heavily on your shield triggers. Once Soul Phoenix hits the field, it's pretty much GG for your opponent. This deck consists of 8 Firebirds, 8 Earth Dragons, and 12 shield trigger spells. And also a couple of fill-ins which I'll touch on. I feel like the balance in this deck is really nice. I would say it's a mid-range fire nature deck with a slight touch of aggro / rush as well. Before I go any further, let's get into this deck profile. In this video, I will explain all of the cards in this deck, I'll explain their functions, and I'll explain their purpose that they serve in this deck. Firstly, we run a playset of Coco Lupia. This card is an excellent first piece, as Coco Lupia's effect is that you can summon any creature with dragon in its race for 2 less mana cost. This comes in handy with our Earth Dragons that need to be summoned for Soul Phoenix, as they tend to be more costly in mana. Next we run a playset of Kook Palon. Now, who do you guys see in the background of this card? Yep, that's right, it's Bolshak Dragon. Anyway, the reason why Kook is in this deck is because it cannot be attacked, which means it can only be destroyed and removed by a spell. Next we have a playset of Pyrofighter Magnus. Magnus is in this deck in case you need a quick 1-2 punch. It's a dynamic card because it is a speed attacker, which means it doesn't get summoning sickness and can attack as soon as it hits the battle zone. It does have to be returned to your hand though at the end of the turn. We then run a playset of Tornado Flame. This spell has a shield trigger ability, which means it can be played immediately at no cost if it has been broken in the shield zone and placed into your hand. Tornado Flame allows you to choose one of your opponent's creatures in the battle zone that has 4,000 power or less and destroy it. Next we have a playset of Natural Snare. Natural Snare is in this deck purely because it is a solid defense mechanism. It allows you to weaken your opponent's battle zone by choosing one of their creatures in the battle zone which has to be sent to their mana zone. Natural Snare also has shield trigger ability, which lets you cast Natural Snare at no cost to your mana. Next we have a playset of Fairy Life. Fairy Life is in the deck for mana acceleration to assist with getting Soul Phoenix onto the field quicker. Fairy Life is a shield trigger, which means it can be played at no mana cost. Fairy Life's effect is that you place the top card of your deck into your mana zone. If you have this card in your hand early game, it's definitely worth paying the 2 mana to play Fairy Life and increase your mana. We then have a playset of Innocent Hunter Blade of All, which is in this deck due to its excellent effect that an evolution creature of any race can be placed onto it. That means if you want to get Soul Phoenix out earlier than any Earth Dragon will allow you to due to the mana cost of them, you can use Innocent Hunter as bait instead. It is possible to have Soul Phoenix out on the field by turn 5. Next we have a playset of Bronze Arm Tribe. Bronze Arm is in the deck purely for mana acceleration to help get Soul Phoenix out as early as possible. We then run a playset of Terra Dragon Regarian, which is our first Earth Dragon of the deck. Regarian is a 4,000 powered creature that has the plus 3,000 power attacker when battling opponent's creatures during the attack phase. Regarian costs 5 mana to summon. It also has double breaker ability. This is one of the more solid Earth Dragons that was released in the TCG. Next we have a playset of Terra Dragon Anrist Val. This is our second Earth Dragon. Anrist Val relies on getting power from each nature creature in the battle zone. With each nature creature in the battle zone, it gets plus 2,000 power. Once its power reaches 6,000 or more, double breaker ability is activated. Last but not least, we run a playset of Soul Phoenix Avatar of Unity. This is a beatstick 13,000 powered triple breaking vortex creature that only requires 4 mana to be summoned. Because it is a vortex creature, it needs 1 Firebird and 1 Earth Dragon to evolve. And as mentioned before, we can use Innocent Hunter for one component instead, and more often than not, it'll be the Earth Dragon component that you're wanting to cover there. Soul Phoenix's effect is that whenever it would leave the battle zone, only the top card gets sent to the graveyard, the top card being Soul Phoenix. You then split the other two creatures you use to evolve Soul Phoenix, and they get to remain on the field in the battle zone. Now onto some honourable mentions and possible card substitutions for cards that can be incorporated into this deck. The first option is adding 2 Brutal Charge to this deck. Brutal Charge can be useful because at the end of your turn it lets you draw as many creatures out of your deck as you broke shields. So if you broke 2 shields that turn, you get to choose 2 monsters from your deck, take them out, show them to your opponent, and then they get added to your hand and you have to shuffle your deck. The second option is to add 2 copies of Apocalypse Vice. If you're finding it hard and difficult to remove certain creatures in your opponent's battle zone or need to wipe out your opponent's creatures, this is your card. It allows you to destroy any number of your opponent's creatures that have total power 8,000 or less. Now the reason why we aren't running this in the deck is because I feel like Tornado Flame is sufficient given the kind of decks we'll be facing. I really feel like Tornado Flame ticks all the boxes, and it also has the shield trigger ability which Apocalypse Vice does not. The third option is to add in 2 Burst Shot to the deck. This is pretty much a Hail Mary. If your opponent is dominating the battle zone with lots of smaller powered creatures, then this card would come in useful. This card would most commonly be used against Mono Fire Rush decks and Fire Nature Rush decks, which utilize smaller powered creatures to beat down their opponent. Burst Shot's effect is destroy all creatures that have 2,000 power or less. It's also a shield trigger, so it can be played at no mana cost. The fourth option is to run a playset of Peppy Pepper. If you feel that Kook Palon's power isn't sufficient enough for you, then you could consider running Peppy Pepper, as it is a 2,000 powered creature with plus 3,000 power attacker when it engages in battle with your opponent's creature. Not a bad return for a creature that only costs 3 mana to summon. So to recap, this is what you want your deck to look like. Now, one of our fans of the channel requested that once we have finished discussing the cards in the deck, they would like to see a final picture of all the cards in the deck together. Now we think this is an excellent idea, so in the future we will be incorporating this into each of our deck profile videos. We've reached the point of the video where we're going to discuss what you want to do with this deck and how to use it as efficiently and effectively as possible. So turn 1, you're going to want to charge mana. Turn 2, you're going to want to summon Kook Palon or Fairy Life to accelerate mana. Turn 3, you're going to want Bronze Arm out on the field to accelerate mana, or Pyrofighter Magnus to take out any threats that are attacking your shields, and also Coco Lupia to prepare for Soul Phoenix. Turn 4, you're going to want to continue to charge mana every turn, and you're going to want to summon Innocent Blade Hunter of All here, if you have it in your hand. Turn 5, if you have Kook Palon or Coco Lupia and Innocent Hunter on the field, you are able to summon Soul Phoenix. Thanks so much for tuning into this video, guys. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this deck profile. I aim to bring you guys the most exciting DM content available on YouTube. I have tons of other deck profiles planned, so please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any exclusive content. Also, a call out to my fellow Australians. If you're from Australia and have seen this video, please join our Duel Masters Australia Facebook group. As always, a link will be left in the description of this video. Thanks heaps DM fans. Australia Duel Masters out.